Hello everyone, welcome to this video lecture. In this lecture, we are going to learn a short summary of the poem Sita by Dept. This is Dheepika, lecturer, Department of English SF, Sita Lakshmi Ramaswamy College, Trichy. In this slide, we are going to see some details about the poet. Dept or Tarulata Dutt was an Indian poet born in the Bengal province in 1856 to the well-known Rambagan Dept family. Her book of poetry, named Ancient Ballads and Legends of Hindustan, a collection of translations and adaptations from Sanskrit literature, was published posthumously in 1882. Her first novel, Le Journal de Mademoiselle d'Avers, was written in French. She also started to write another novel, Bianca or The Young Spanish Maiden, which remains incomplete due to her young and untimely death. She was the first women writer in the history of Indo-Anglican literature. Two of its notable works are Our Casuarina Tree, Tree of Life, The Lotus. She died on August 30, 1877 at the age of 21. Next, we will see the main themes in the poem Sita. Normally, Dutt's poems revolve around the themes of seclusion, longing, patriotism, and childhood nostalgia. Likewise, we can find all these themes in the poem Sita. In this slide, you will see the poem's rhyme scheme and meter used in the poem Sita. Poem Sita is composed of 22 lines that are grouped into a single stanza. That uses the third-person narrative scheme throughout the poem, while in the last two lines she asks a rhetorical question in the first person for making this work as an autobiographical poem. This poem is written using an alternative rhyming scheme. There is not only any fixed rhyming pattern in the text. In the first 12 lines, that uses the ABBA rhyme scheme. It means these lines can be grouped into three quatrains. In each quatrain, the first and the last line and the second and third lines rhyming together. If lines 12 to 15 are grouped into a quatrain, the rhyme scheme becomes ABAB. In lines 16 to 20, the rhyme scheme is ABBA. The last two lines end with a rhyming couplet similar to the penultimate couplets. This poem is written in an iambic pentameter, the most common meter used in conventional poetry. It means in each line there are 5 iambs. In this slide, we are going to see the poetic lines of the poem Sita. Three happy children in a darkened room. What do they gaze on with wide open eyes? A dense, dense forest where no sunbeam tries, and in its center a cleared spot. There bloom gigantic flowers and creepers that embrace tall trees. There in a quiet, lucid lake the wild swans glide. There whirring from the brake the peacock springs. There herds of wild deer race. There patches of gleam with yellow waving grain. There blue smoke from strange altars rises light. There dwells in peace the poet anchorite. But who is this fair lady? Not in vain she weeps, for lo, at every tear she sheds tears from three pairs of young eyes fall amain, and bowed in sorrow are the three young heads. It is an old, old story, and the lay which has evoked sad Sita from the past is by a mother sung. It's hushed at last, and melts the picture from their sight away. Yet shall they dream of it until the day when shall those children by their mother's side gather, or me, as erst at eventide. In this slide, we will see the first two lines. In these lines, the poet directly introduced the plot to the readers. There are three children who are happy inside their darkened room. The idea somehow sounds paradoxical. Normally, children fear the darkness, but their faces show something else. To create more suspense, that refers to an awe-inspiring image that grabs the children's attention. She uses the hyperbolic expression wide open eyes in order to portray their amazement. Next, I'll explain the upcoming lines. In these lines, we get a picture of a dense forest. We also get a picture of how dense the forest is. It is so dense that there is no space for sunlight. The forest is covered with the trees and its branches. Even though it is morning, it looks very dark. There is a big wild flowers and creepers that has grown around the tall trees. There is quiet lake which is crystal clear. In that lake there are swans floating and making sound while they stop at intervals. There is peacock which is sleeping in joy and a group of deer racing each other. There are patches on the land which are shining in yellow grains. In all these things are making the forest a pleasant and peaceful place to live, and the poet feels that it is like a home for poets, like a religious recluse, where they can spend time in solitude and tranquility. After the beautiful forest is described, the story now moves to another part where the storyteller says that there is one beautiful woman sitting all alone in the peaceful forest who looks unhappy and she is crying, and this scene makes those children who are involved in the story cry as well. After hearing the scene, they have bowed their head in sadness. Now we get a picture of who the story is about, the storyteller talking. Yes, it is an old story. It is a story of Sita of Ramayana that is being recalled from the past. Now we come to know from the above lines who is the storyteller is. It is the mother of those three children who is telling a tale from Ramayana about Sita and her struggle. But when her children seemed sad and started crying after listening to the story, she finishes the story in a hurry as she is unable to see her children sad. But the poet says even though the mother wants those children to forget the story, but they would still remember it until the end of the day. Finally, in the end, after finishing the story, the mother gathers all her children and hugs them pacifying. Thank you.